Welcome, my friends. Today I will take you on a journey into one of the oldest and most fascinating countries in the world, China. But this is not just about history books or famous landmarks. This is about real people, real lives, and real dreams. By the end of this story, you'll understand why a simple family dinner can hold more power than the busiest city street, and how ancient customs still guide millions of hearts and minds today. So stay with me as we uncover the surprising ways Chinese culture, history, and modern ambition. The first time I stepped onto Chinese soil, it felt like stepping into another world, a world where ancient traditions meet the fast-moving rhythm of modern life. By 6 o'clock, the whole village was awake. Farmers guided their oxen to plow the flooded fields. The flat earth reflected the pale sky, and the oxen's sturdy horns cut through the water. Nearby, women in wide-brimmed straw hats bent low among the green rice shoots, planting each grain with care. "Watch your back, sister," called one, as another slipped into the muddy water. Laughter bubbled from the group, rising like melody across the paddies. At the village schoolhouse, small children in bright uniforms lined up outside. They carried little red scarves around their necks, symbols of the Young Pioneers, a youth organization that taught them respect for learning and their country. As the teacher arrived, a soft bell rang. The children saluted, "Hello, teacher," and marched inside, ready to learn reading, writing, and the history of their land. Li Wei, a lanky 12-year-old, hurried past the school toward his family's small stall in the market square. His mother sold fresh vegetables, eggs, and jars of pickled vegetables she made herself. He arranged bright red tomatoes, shiny eggplants, and pale green bok choy in neat rows. His bright smile drew customers. "Good morning, Grandma Liu," he greeted a gray-haired shopper. In return, she handed him a brittle paper fan. "You work hard, Li Wei. Here, take this fan. It will help you stay cool when you guard the stall," she winked. Guarding the stall meant keeping watch for customers, talking about prices, and sometimes chasing a chicken that wandered too close to the produce. Simple tasks, yes, but each small action built character and taught responsibility. By 8 o'clock, the village market was alive. Old friends met by the fishmonger's stall. Children tugged at their mothers, begging for the sticky rice cakes sold on wooden carts. Farmers bartered eggs for chilies. The loud calls of vendors, "Fresh fish, only 3 yuan each," or "Sweet strawberries, 2 for 10 yuan," filled the air like music. At the edge of the market stood a small tea house shaded by a banyan tree. Inside, men in straw hats sat on low stools, sipping hot tea from tiny porcelain cups. They played shangqi, Chinese chess, with slow concentration, speaking in soft tones and offering each other pieces of advice. "Remember, you cannot move your general into check," one said, nudging a pawn forward. "Ah, but you forget," the other replied, smiling slyly. "I have already planned for that." A low laugh drifted across the table, mixing with the clink of teacups. For them, the tea house was more than a place to drink. It was a meeting point, a place to discuss village news, the weather, and the latest talk of relatives who had gone off to the city for work. In China, community bonds run deep. Neighbors help one another in times of need. When the government repaired the village well, everyone chipped in with labor and food to make the work faster. When a sickness spread, families shared medicine and care until health returned. These simple acts of kindness spread trust and friendship, making even the smallest village feel like a big family. But not everyone stayed in the village. Each year, thousands of young people left for the cities in search of work and opportunity. Wang Jun, a muscular 19-year-old with dreams as big as Shanghai's skyline, took a crowded overnight train to the city one spring evening. He carried only a small bag, a change of clothes, a favorite book, and a picture of his family. As the train rumbled toward the bright lights, he leaned against the window, watching the countryside fade. Endless green fields, misty hills, and sleepy villages passed beneath him. In the city, he would find jobs in construction or factories, or, if he was lucky, in one of the many new restaurants that served hot pot and flavored teas. When the train arrived, the station's neon signs blinked in 1,000 colors. A sea of people pressed forward, students with backpacks, businessmen in suits, and workers with toolboxes. Motorbikes zipped between buses and taxis, weaving like fish in a river. The air smelled of gasoline, cooking oil, and countless stories waiting to be born. Wang Jun found a small dormitory shared with 6 others. The walls were thin, and the noise of the busy street drifted through the windows all night. Yet he felt excitement more than fear. He had left the quiet fields for a chance to build a new life. In Shanghai's Pudong district, towering skyscrapers reached for the sky. Glass and steel glimmered under the sun. International companies opened offices here. The city had streets that looked like from a movie set. Shiny cars, expensive fashion, and restaurants mixing Chinese and Western cuisine. But beneath the glossy surface, life was hard for many. Wang Jun joined a construction crew building one of those shining towers. Every morning before sunrise, Guy and his crew put on hard hats and gloves, checked their safety harnesses, and climbed up scaffolding that swayed in the wind. "Don't look down," joked his friend Li Qiang as they worked 20 stories high. "Too late," Wang Jun laughed, gripping the steel beam. They took their lunch break, sitting on narrow ledges, balancing bowls of rice and vegetables. At noon, they shared jokes and stories to keep the mood light. Each bolt they tightened reminded them they were creating something new. A home for families, an office for bankers, a landmark for travelers. After work, Wang Jun would ride a battered bicycle through crowded streets to reach his dorm. At night, he sometimes worked extra hours delivering takeout orders by bike. The City of Lights never slept, and neither did those who chased their dreams there. Yet, even in Shanghai, traditions persisted. On lunar festival days, the small dormitory lobby transformed into a temple of celebration. Red lanterns hung from the ceiling. Couples offered incense, and children chased each other with paper dragons. The taste of tangerines reminded everyone of home, and for a moment, the pounding city noise faded. China's festivals tie the present to the past. On Chinese New Year, the biggest celebration of all, families reunite no matter how far apart they live. In the weeks before, shops sold red paper cutouts, lanterns, and firecrackers. Streets filled with the sounds of hammers decorating doors with couplets of blessing. Li Mei and her grandmother traveled by bus to the county seat to join her parents, who had a small factory there. The journey took hours, but along the way, they saw countryside transformed by fireworks and loudspeakers broadcasting folk songs. "We'll eat dumplings tonight," Li Mei's mother promised as they hugged. "We must stay up past midnight and welcome the new year." At midnight, fireworks cracked overhead like million sparks of hope. Children shrieked with delight. Grandparents handed out red envelopes filled with money as a symbol of luck. Everyone wished each other health and happiness. Another festival, the Lantern Festival on the 15th day of the new year, turned the night sky into a sea of light. Families released sky lanterns inscribed with wishes. Below, lantern displays formed giant dragons, fish, and flowers. The air smelled of sweet rice balls, and drums beat in time with the heart of the crowd. The Dragon Boat Festival in early summer brought racing across rivers. Villagers paddled long, colorful boats shaped like dragons, their oars dipping in perfect unison as drums pounded. On riverbanks, families cheered while savoring zongzi, glutinous rice dumplings wrapped in bamboo leaves, savory or sweet. Each festival added color and music to life, reminding people that despite busy days or hard work, joy and tradition endured. Education in China carries both pressure and pride. From primary school to university, students dedicate countless hours to study. The Gaokao, the National College Entrance Exam, is one of the toughest tests in the world. Its results decide university placement and often determine one's future path. In a boarding school near Xi'an, Mei Lin sat under a flickering lamp at midnight, working on math problems. Her roommate, quiet and focused, scribbled Chinese characters for history. "Are you tired?" Mei Lin whispered. "Don't stop." Her roommate answered softly, "Our futures are in these books." Their textbooks stretched from literature to physics. Every achievement brought honor to the family. Yet each student also carried a private dream to become a doctor, an engineer, a teacher, or even an artist. Parents saved for tuition. Grandparents sent letters of encouragement. Teachers offered extra classes after school. At university, the scene shifted. Lecture halls filled with eager faces. Professors spoke of advanced science, international law, or creative writing. Clubs gathered around robotics, music, or soccer. Students painted murals on dorm walls, organized cultural nights, or volunteered in rural villages to teach children. This pursuit of knowledge fueled China's rapid growth. Scientists unlocked new medical treatments. Engineers built bridges across rivers and deserts. Entrepreneurs launched apps that changed how people lived and worked. And all of this sprang from the dedication of young minds who believed hard work could shape the future. China's history spans emperors and dynasties that shaped not only Asia, but the whole world. Over 2 millennia, rulers like the Qin Emperor built the first Great Wall. The Han Dynasty developed the Silk Road, connecting China with distant lands. The Tang Dynasty saw a golden age of poetry and art. Each era left behind treasures: the terracotta army, guarding an emperor's tomb, delicate porcelain bowls, and scrolls of ancient poems. In Xi'an, once the eastern end of the Silk Road, visitors marveled at the clay soldiers buried alongside Emperor Qin Shi Huang. Thousands of figures, warriors, chariots, horses, stood in rows, each face unique. Standing before them, one felt the power of a ruler who united warring states under a single banner in 221 BCE. The Forbidden City in Beijing sprawled across acres of red walls and golden roofs. For nearly 500 years, it was the imperial palace of Ming and Qing emperors. Today, tourists wandered its halls, imagining the whispered intrigues, ceremonies, and celebrations that once filled its courtyards. In every corner of China lived ordinary heroes. The school teacher in a remote mountain village, who rode his old motorbike through muddy roads to bring books to children. The nurse in a city hospital who held the hand of frightened patients late into the night. The shopkeeper who donated part of her earnings to build a well in a drought-stricken town. Young environmentalists planted trees along polluted rivers. Doctors volunteered in villages during health crises. Students coded apps to help elderly neighbors call for help. Their acts were small, but they echoed a spirit of care and progress. For young people today, China offered a world of possibility. Drones flew above rice fields, monitoring crop growth. Mobile labs tested air quality in real time. Artists fused traditional opera with digital media. And through it all, the values of respect for elders, love of family, and belief in education guided them. As Li Mei prepared for university in Beijing, she packed a small wooden box of her grandmother's dumpling recipe. She would share it with roommates, forging new bonds in the big city. Wang Jun saved money to open his own workshop one day, dreaming of designing eco-friendly homes in his home province. Mei Lin practiced her violin to bring music to hospitals and hoped to study abroad someday. They were the bridge between past and future. Their journeys reflected China's story, a nation rooted in ancient wisdom, yet full of forward-looking energy. China's life is not just about the past or the future. It is about people, families, and dreams that never stop growing. From every steaming bowl of noodles shared with friends to every high-speed train rushing toward new horizons, life in China is a song of resilience, tradition, and endless possibilities. And as long as there's a sunrise over the mountains and laughter in the streets, the story of China will keep on moving forward, carried by the hearts of its people and the dreams they dare to chase.